Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. Today's honored guest, I'm your host, Danny Flores, and today's honored guest is Michael Hernandez. Michael holds a bachelor's degree from California State University, Fullerton, and an MBA from the University of Redlands. He works in the distilled spirits industry with experience in sales and marketing. He lives in Whittier, California, where he enjoys basketball and volunteers as a CIF high school basketball referee across Southern California. In his spare time, he plays golf and cherishes time with his son and daughter. He's also a guest speaker at local universities, sharing insights on marketing trends and strategy. His passion for this book stems from wanting to bridge the gap between sales and marketing teams. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah. No, thanks so much. Now you wrote a book recently, right?
I did, and I started it about maybe 5 years ago, really, and about 6 years ago, I was doing some guest speaking at some of the local universities, Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State, and I would meet with the marketing department or the marketing clubs, and I would talk about the foundation of marketing. And as I started to do this, I started to write notes for the presentations. And as I continued writing these notes, it's like the notes just kept going and going and going and going. And after a few years, I've decided I was just started to compile everything on the major foundation of marketing, and lo and behold, a book came out of it. So I'm really happy to share that book with my colleagues and students and people who are interested in the subject of marketing.
What's the title of the book?
It's called Marketing versus Sales versus Marketing. And the reason I came up with that is my experience working in the distilled spirit industry. There always seemed to be this like a push and pull between the marketing department and the sales department. The sales department would always say, oh, these marketing guys, they don't put a good campaign together. And then it would be the marketing department would say, oh, these sales guys don't know how to utilize our marketing campaign. So there's been this push and pull with in both divisions. So I thought, based on all my notes and the way that things were going, I decided to use that as a title, and that was going to be my subject matter for the book.
Now, we know that there's tons of marketing books out there. What makes yours different?
That's a really, really good question. That's one of the reasons why I started this book. If I look at all the marketing books and business books, and I'm not kidding, there's probably about 2 business books being published every day. And the difference between my book is that most of the marketing books, they talk about sports marketing. They talk about social marketing, AI marketing, restaurant marketing. Any word that they put in front of marketing stimulates a book about marketing. But my book talks about the foundation of marketing. It gets right down to the roots of what's needed to have a successful marketing campaign, such as starting with knowing where your brand is on the life cycle, knowing what the market segmentation that you need to target to have a successful campaign. So the new books that are coming out, they really have a tendency to miss the foundation of marketing. They all talk about the kind of the end part of marketing, making $1 million, et cetera, and they forget to leave out that foundation of marketing, and that's where my book comes in. I literally talk about the beginning of marketing, the roots of it, the foundation of marketing, kind of marketing 101, if you will. And I think most of the books that come out about marketing miss that particular subject.
So now, if somebody wants, say to improve on their profession, say they're in sales, or somebody who's maybe in college and is thinking about getting into the sales, what do you think is the starting point of a marketing campaign, or what would they do to figure that out? Because that seems like an important factor to it.
Right. I think based on my experience, the most important concept is to understand where your brand is on the life cycle. And that is so important to start your marketing campaign, because you need to know if your brand is at the introduction part. Are we just putting this brand together, writing what we need to do on a napkin? Is this brand already been in the market and starting to take off on the incline on the graph? Or is this brand already peaked out? Or is this brand on the declining stage? Or is this brand ready to be fizzled out in the marketplace altogether? So it's very important for marketing people to know exactly where their brand stands on the life cycle. Now, you're going to use different types of measurements to know where your brand is. You can use profits, you can use sales, maybe how many homes you have sold, maybe how many cans of corn you've sold. I mean, there's different measurements that you're going to use to determine where your brand sits. But I think that's really the starting point. And then once you understand where your brand is on the life cycle, then the next step is to generate a marketing campaign.
Now, let's assume somebody's coming into a new sales position and they catch a brand of whatever it is that they're going to be selling, maybe on the downside of the life cycle. Is there a way to revive it and techniques to make it turn around and catch a second life cycle pointing upwards to make it a successful marketing campaign?
No, you're absolutely right. And the best way to answer that question is try not to let your brand get on that declining side. But we all know that that's inevitable with some brands, and when you do, so getting back to understanding if your brand is on the life cycle, one of the early steps is to put a SWOT analysis together. And we need to look, if your brand's declining, we need to look at what are the strengths of this brand, because every brand has strengths. What are the weaknesses of this brand? Kind of what's pulling it down? And then what are the trends of this brand? What is there legal trends that are changing? Are there legal city ordinance that could be changing? What's the competition looking at? Where's my competition doing? And then the next part of that SWOT analysis is looking at my opportunities. Where are my opportunities? Is it because maybe my brand's declining? Maybe there's a market that I haven't looked at. Maybe there's a market segmentation that declining brand needs to look at. So it's a matter of looking at the strength, the weaknesses, looking at the trends, which is, as we know, the trends are happening every day, and then look at those opportunities and use those strengths to cover your weaknesses, and then determine what the opportunities are, and then always keep in the back of the mind the trends that are happening. And usually it's a lot of legal trends that are happening, laws that are changing in the industry, in different industries, that can make things difficult, and at the same time can make things a little easier. So I think a lot of it is recognizing the strength and the weaknesses of those brands and do your best to turn that brand around.
Now, just for our audience that may not know what a SWOT analysis is, can you define that and the purpose of that?
Right. Well, the purpose of it is to use a generic term, SWOT analysis, which stands for the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and trends. And the way that some marketing companies do it is we'll put a box together and a quadrant, and we'll write down, okay, let's determine what our strengths are of this brand. And we might write down 10, 15 strengths of the brand. And then we move to the next quadrant and we'll say, okay, what are the weaknesses of this brand? Might write down 10 or 15 weaknesses. And then the third quadrant will be, what are our trends? What's happening in the marketplace? What new laws are changing? What is our competition doing? And then the last one is, what opportunities are there? Is there new fares are happening? Maybe there's a new automobile that needs different new types of lighting on it. There's just different opportunities that you need to look at and measure. So that would be a very generic term to say on how that SWOT analysis can be used. And I really believe that it's a really important part of the marketing mix or the marketing campaign, because you're getting right down to the nitty gritty. You're starting at the bottom and then working your way up to the top.
Now, is there any time when you have a product and you're doing a SWOT analysis where it's too deep in the end of the life cycle, where you just like, let's just let it go and come up with something new?
That's another really good question, I'll tell you. So what's happening now, or what some companies are doing now, if their brand is really declining and there's no return to it, what they're doing now is they're creating a new line extension. Absolute Vodka is another perfect example where their sales might be kind of soft or they might be declining, and then they'll come out with a new line extension of a cherry or a strawberry flavored line. And then same thing in the detergent industry where you'll see a lot of new detergents come out, new and improved, something that has different colors to it, something that stands out on the shelf. And then the other thing is that we look at the pricing too. They might have to reevaluate what the pricing is on the shelf or where your pricing is, and they might have to reevaluate where the pricing is. So there's a lot of variables to turning a brand around. And the bottom line too is it does cost a lot of money to design a really good marketing campaign to turn the brand around. And that's probably where a lot of money is spent by major companies is the brand is really, really slipping. What do we do? People are raising their hands and says, well, let's try this, let's try that. And how much money are we going to need to do that? So the trick is to not let your brand get to that declining stage. And another good example is a company like Nike and some of the car companies is that every year with Nike, it seems like every month they're coming out with a new shoe. It might be the same old Michael Jordan shoe, but it might have a little bit of different cushion. It might have different colors to it. Same thing with the cars. They're coming out with a new car every year. So these companies are preventing their brands to get on that declining stage by introducing new line extensions or by introducing new brands as often as they can. So I think that's the trick is making sure that your brand stays healthy and introduce new line extensions where you think it's fit on the strength side of the life cycle spectrum.
Now that sounds like a lot of money that you
Yeah,
have to continually spend to keep those ads running, to keep, say, Nike on the commercials, on the radio, at maybe the football games when you have millions of eyes on the screen. It's just constant, constant, constant show, right? Exposure to that. Is that the only way to keep your brand relevant?
it's not. But with those big companies, I mean, those are Fortune 100 companies that have a
Yeah.
big marketing budgets. But the really important term that I'm hearing a lot is organic marketing, and that is through social marketing. Let's face it. I mean, you could really get your brand in 2 days, target thousands of people through that. So I'm seeing a lot of companies doing social marketing, what the term is organic marketing, just Facebook, TikTok, and those type of social marketing that's gaining new presence. And if you measure the amount of uh, the amount that their brand is being seen, that is the amount of impressions that they're getting. That's a really good measurement to know that your brand is getting out there and people are
Hmm.
seeing it based on the hits that you're getting, based on the impressions that you're getting. So organic marketing is a really unique and a really important way to go as opposed to the ads on Super Bowl ads, etc., introducing your
Right.
new
Right.
Doritos. So I'm seeing more and more brands get on or do organic marketing, do the social media marketing, which I think is a good way to go also for companies that have limited budgets.
Right, right, right. Because you can say technically it's free because you're not paying to advertise, but you're paying to produce. That part doesn't go
Exactly.
away, right?
Exactly. And what you've seen lately is some cute ads, and AI is responsible for some of it. They'll generate some nice videos for you, and they're posting these really very cute videos, throughout the day, and they're getting a lot of good, very unique videos that are getting a lot of impressions. So that's a really unique way to go about getting your brand out there in front of people. And then with all that said too, is there are different market segmentations that these brands are targeting? It could be under 21 years of 21, it could be 21 to 35 and 35 and older. And these companies have that they're able to use those measurements to go out and target specific segments of the market, which is a really unique marketing skill to have that companies have.
Right. So now you mentioned slightly, but let's elaborate a little bit because with AI, it's here. Everybody's using it. Everybody, and there's like new AI is coming out
Sure.
every day that kind of just make things easier and easier to create, faster, more efficient, and they just get better. What can you tell me about that?
Well, I mean, what I can tell you is just what I've seen, and like what everybody else has seen. It's just growing at a very fast pace, and it's really, I think some of the bigger companies are keeping up with it. Smaller companies, it could have a difficulty keeping up with the AI based on what the competition's doing. But I really see AI as moving fast in marketing and creating ads and creating marketing campaigns for most major companies. And I think they're already using, well, they are using AI to help create marketing campaigns, and it's very successful. I see AI as being a really strong component for the years to come. I just don't think there's any way around it. I just think it's on its way, and it's like a big boulder just moving down a hill. It's not going to be easy to stop.
No, no, no. And the thing is, you probably don't want to stop it because of its usefulness and its efficiencies, right?
No,
So now
exactly.
let's just say a smaller company. What's the best way to try to keep up with that? Like, what's the go-to place to find out what's the latest and greatest on a daily basis, even?
Well, again, I think you come back to AI again. I mean, I think that's a tool. AI is a tool that you can use to gather more information, gather research, and get back to again to that SWOT analysis and finding out what is the strength and the weaknesses of your brand, and let AI take a little bit. I don't want to say control is not the right word, but let it develop some programs for you that you can feel that you and your team feels that's will work for you guys. So. I'm seeing more and more smaller um, companies you going to AI for those type of
Hmm.
campaigns.
Now, how do you find people that are experts in AI to employ?
Wow, that's a really good question. I really don't can't really comment too much on that. I think for myself, the people that I know, they're just using AI as the tool themselves. They're kind of
Mhm.
learning on the job, so to speak, as opposed to hiring
Yeah.
somebody with all the AI skills. I think AI is going to get easier and easier over the years to come, and I think just anybody will be able to use it to create a video, to create a marketing campaign, to create an advertising campaign, to create a very slick advertise. I just think that's going to be very simple to do in the years to come. Just going to get easier.
Now, I didn't mean that to be a trick question, but it's a trick question. There's no other way to ask it, right? It's like we
Yeah,
don't know all the answers. Everything's moving just so darn fast. It's like
exactly.
I don't even know if colleges have AI degrees. And if you do graduate with one, it's probably old by the time you graduate. So that's the thing. It's how do you keep up?
No, you're right. You're right. It's just a matter of staying on the course with AI and knowing how to use it. I think is what the
Hmm.
answer is.
Staying relevant, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe staying watching, whether it's YouTube or any of the other social medias that people talk about him. I just for me, it's like I see him and it's just like there's I can't wrap my hands around them before they're gone and something else is new.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And the other key term is that knowing how your competition is using AI. I'm sure a lot of the smaller startup companies and even the big companies are looking at their competition and looking how AI is being used to get their brands out there. So I think being really a student of the competition is a good answer to the AI quest.
Yeah, no, no, for sure.
Yeah.
So now, what's the easiest way? So we talked about a lot of things. I think you have a lot of these things are included in your book. Is that correct?
Correct. And I tried to break it down by chapter on a SWOT analysis, break it down by market segmentation, pricing, positioning of brands. And those are all really important. And I think the book, after reading it a couple times, is really skewed towards novice marketing people, business professionals that give them the foundation of marketing. And I'm sure marketing executives or marketing students of marketing with a lot of years of experience, I'm sure they're well aware of the foundation of marketing. But this book gives them a good understanding, a good reference book to give them a really, really good starting point for students coming with marketing degrees. It really comes down to a really good reference book, is the way I see it for novice business people.
So where can it be found?
Right now, the book was just launched on the last week in August, so we are currently on Amazon.com right now. We have
Okay.
the ebook, a paperback, and a hard copy currently. So we're only on one platform right now. The book
Mm-hmm.
is still very new, and it really has surpassed my expectation based on the purchases from business partners, from business colleagues, and from a few students that I'm aware of. And so that it's on its way. I think it's going to do well. I'm meeting with a couple of universities to get it in some of the bookstores as a recommended reading. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot to do, but little by little, I think the book will be out there, and the content is something that everybody can use in the marketing field.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
Again, congratulations on that.
thank
Now,
you.
as we get ready to wrap up the interview, what next? What do you have in the future plans within the next 6 to 12 month? Exciting. What's exciting coming up?
Yeah, well, what's exciting is that I'm gonna trying. I got to put the word try because I do work a lot, but to develop a workbook for the subjects in my book. So that's my next plan. If I can develop a nice workbook so that marketing students can have something to work on. I understand that they can look it up on Google and look it up in marketing websites, but the point is that these workbooks is something that they can use as a foundation and something that they can carry with them or use as a reference more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan, to come up with some workbooks that have the subject matters in my book. So that's the plan. We'll get there. It's just going to take a little time. So,
Okay.
and I think it's a good plan based on students I've spoken to and based on some professors I've spoken to. So that's the direction that I'd like to go into with this book.
Amazing. So that, yeah, that'll be good because it's not just reading the book. Now the workbook will also help solidify the content of the book. But
Exactly.
that's an amazing path to try to take. Now, as if anybody who is listening and is interested in learning more, either about the book or about what you do, how can they get a hold of you?
I have a website called precisionauthors.com. Again, that's precisionauthors.com. And I have my website there. And in my website, you could attach your email or give us your email address and then make some comments on the book itself, or make comments on marketing, and make some general comments about marketing and sales. And then at that point, I would love to have a dialogue with people. So that's the best way to get in touch with me now. Precisionauthors.com is my website.
Amazing. Perfect. Well, thanks so much, Michael, for coming on the show. Really appreciate sharing your story, sharing about your book. And once again, congratulations on that book. And thank you to our audience. Please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thanks so much, Michael.
And thanks for having me. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.